Welcome back to the video. Today we are back from an NFL video. Today talking about Bijan Robinson, quite possibly the biggest rookie going into this NFL season, whether that's offense or defense. This guy is one of the best running back prospects to come out in a long time. He's already being drafted very high in fantasy football things. The Falcons are already just raving about him. So there's a lot to talk about here. Well, there's a lot and not a lot at the same time. It's just kind of like just interesting. So we're just gonna jump right into it. First off, these are his stats from last year. So he had 1,500. Actually, I'll zoom in. I always forget to do that. So let me do this now so I don't forget later so you guys can actually see that. But rushing, he had 1,580 yards with 18 rushing touchdowns just in 2022 alone. He also had 314 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns as well there. Then back in 2021, he still had 1,127 rushing yards with 11 touchdowns. And then also back in 2021, he had 295 receiving yards with 4 touchdowns. So that is some very solid stats, obviously, dating back to 2021 and even 2020. It wasn't that bad of a year for him either. It's just he just really leveled up each year up until last year, where he was just absolutely unstoppable. It was so weird to like watch his highlights because it looked so easy. It looked so effortless. He looks like he's like barely moving, but his vision is incredible. He just always finds lanes, and even if there's not a lane, he just bounces off guys. He just breaks tackles. He's so fast, and there's really just nothing he can't do, honestly. He can do everything. He's a pretty good pass catcher. I even heard a report that the Falcons may use him out of the slot a little bit as well. So there's really not a weakness in Bijan's game. He is just an incredible all-around player. And actually, even for, I use Underdog Fantasy. If you guys use it too, that's cool. Let me know down below. I've done a few drafts because if you draft, early enough, you can get some guys way back in the draft that turn to be, steals if you're paying attention enough, reading reports, all that kind of stuff. Last year, I actually drafted Ramondre Stevenson with the 106th overall pick in June. And then, of course, when the season came around, it turned to be a massive steal. Probably one of my best steals ever. But that's off topic. Either way, Bijan, is already, I think, projected like 7th in a lot of underdog drafts on there for fantasy football this coming season. And he's a rookie. He hasn't even played it down yet, and he's already being projected to go 7th overall. At least, I think his ADP, his average draft position, and all. That's where his value is right now, which is just unbelievable for a running back especially, but a rookie running back as well. It's just absolutely insane. Now, I want to transition the video because this is kind of a recap of what he did before into this coming year. I kind of talked about where he stands as far as fantasy football goes, but let's talk about how he's going to fit into the league. So I have up here as well, where is my mouse? I have up here as well the 2022 rushing leaders right here. So I'll zoom in again. Josh Jacobs was the rushing leader. Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Barkley, and Miles Sanders. Those were the top 5 guys last year, and they all had great years. Now, I'm not just going to say if Bijan, had his 1,500 yards, I'm not going to just throw him in there because obviously it's not going to translate exactly, yard for yard, all that kind of stuff. But just looking at where their touchdowns came from, their longest rushes, all that kind of stuff, it is very interesting because it doesn't seem like anything Bijan really can't do. I mean, if you want to say, okay, he's not rushing for 1,600, 1,500 yards in his rookie year, obviously, that's a solid take. But if you want to go down to even like Etienne or McCaffrey, I mean, I could see him getting around there his rookie year, and that's not a bad year by any means at all. So that's why I think a huge focus on this video is like Bijan can instantly be a top 5 running back in the league. Instantly, in my opinion. I mean, Miles Sanders right there with 1,200 yards. I don't see Miles Sanders doing that again at all, and he's on the Panthers now. So that's not me being biased. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen at all for Miles Sanders. Dalvin Cook is not getting any younger. Honestly, Justin Fields could probably do, pretty similar numbers to that. I think McCaffrey will be up more, but otherwise, I think not too much will shake up because I think Etienne even has a backup now. Tank Bigsby they drafted, so he might not even be getting all that workload anymore either. So, but when it comes to Bijan, sure you have Tyler Algier, but he's not going to be taking more than half of Bijan's carries, and especially if Bijan's getting work out of the slot or out of the backfield, he's going to be getting the ball a lot. Obviously, that's not rushing yards. I'm just saying in general, he's going to be getting a ton of touches, a ton of opportunity, and it's going to be interesting. So let me know down below where you guys think Bijan will fit into this list, or maybe you think he'll even, not even get 1,000 yards, because this is basically, there's still 1,000-yard rushers down here, but I just kind of cut it off around Jamal Williams right there. I'm not sure why that came up like that. And now it's messed up, but right around here is where I had before. So let me know down below what you guys are really thinking like that. But I also have another thing I want to get into. Now, this is a projection based off DraftWire USA today for Bijan Robinson going into this year. So they said 290 rushing attempts for 1,300 yards, 65 receptions for another 525 yards, with 14 total touchdowns. It says there is little doubt that the Falcons will build their offense around their newly attained running back. Robinson is one of the most talented player at his position to come out in a very long time. Or no, is the most talented. Sorry, not one of. Is the most talented at his position to come out in a very long time, and he can do it all. He is set up for potential All-Pro year if all of his talent comes to fruition in a run-focused offense such as this one. So, that's a pretty rich projection, but truthfully speaking, with a player of his caliber, it's very, very possible. Now, this is where I want to go back to that rushing, leaders from last year, because let's say he gets near that 1,300 yard mark, and we just go back over here. I mean, that is fourth. That's fourth in the league last year. That is instantly a top 5 running back prediction that they have him as. And I gotta say, I'm behind it. I really don't think there's gonna be that many running backs better than Bijan Robinson. I'm just gonna say, in my opinion, I don't think Josh Jacobs replicates that either. Derrick Henry just is so far timeless, it seems like. Nick Chubb is incredible. He'll probably still be up there. Barkley will probably still be up there. But I think the rest of that's gonna be really different. So in my opinion, I mean, who are you putting over Bijan Robinson next year? That's what I want to know. Like, what running backs are going to be getting more opportunities and just have the tools and the offense around them to really push them to the point of maybe 1,300 yards, 14 total touchdowns, like that projected him to be. In my opinion, 1,300 yards I think is very, very fair. I think probably less on the 500 receiving yards. I think I'd say around only 300 receiving yards. But again, if they actually do plan to use him out of the slot, then I guess that is actually a very solid projection. But it's just crazy to see those numbers for a player that hasn't played it down yet. But it just seems like there's so much hype around him. There's no way he's anything less than that. And some players it works out like that. They're just so talented and they're so good that it translates immediately and they just instantly take the lead by storm. And in my opinion, I think Bijan Robinson will definitely do that. Watching his highlights is unbelievable, like I mentioned before. Just his vision, his ability to break tackles, to escape defenders. It looks so effortless watching him play. And I'm really excited to see him play in the NFL, to see how much that translates. I am not excited to be a Panthers fan, have to play him twice a year at all. I was really hoping they would pick anybody but Bijan Robinson. So that's going to be a little annoying, but I have a feeling that Panthers fans and the fans of the divisional teams are not the only people that are not going to be liking playing against him. I think it's going to be anybody he plays is not going to be a fan of watching him tear up their team, because he is going to, I think, put some serious numbers. So where do you think he lands up here in this, top whatever I have up on the screen right now? In my opinion, I think Bijan Robinson finishes 3rd next year. Might be a little bit of a rich prediction, I know, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't think Josh Jacobs does that. I do think Derrick Henry does, because Tennessee just does not have any kind of weapons or even really, I guess, a stable quarterback other than Tannehill. Nick Chubb, I think, might. Barkley will be interesting to see what the Giants really do with him and Daniel Jones moving forward. Miles Sanders, no way, in my opinion. Dalvin Cook could, but it depends on what team he's on, because the Vikings are rumored to cut him. So, I don't know. A lot has to happen. But in my opinion, there are not going to be many running backs better than Bijan Robinson by the end of 2023-2024 NFL season. So that's been it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to comment down below anything you think about him as a prospect, or maybe you're a Falcons fan and you're just excited about him, anything like that. I do Madden and NFL videos. We do videos like this all summer long, talking about one player on at least every team, maybe even more times as well. We do tier list videos. We're also talking about individual teams as the season gets closer, talking about what they're going to be doing in this upcoming year, kind of predicting all that kind of stuff. Then as far as Madden goes, I do pack openings there, which you guys have really seemed to like my last 2, so thank you guys for all that support there. I also do Madden gameplays along with our Panthers team series. And new promo content news, all that kind of stuff. So it's always football on the channel, whether that's in the form of a video game or in the form of predicting stuff or week picks when the season's going on. We do that too. I forgot to mention that. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.